Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the Deal with D and J. I'm your co-host, Jacob Pereira. Alongside me is DJ McCatherine. DJ, new background, new deets. Where are we at? What's going on, brother?
We are currently in Arlington, Virginia, for lack of better words at the moment, or to be vague as possible. We are our prospect at the moment. And so we get to tour some new facilities tomorrow. Never been to the DC area, so seeing the Washington Monument from a distance and the Capitol building from a distance on I think it was 395, 495, whatever interchange we were on was just freaking crazy. Nothing I've never been into the area, so it was all just, and for this history buff right here, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
Absolutely love to see it. DJ, we got a special show tonight. We had on DC Defender, defensive end, UFL champion Malik Fisher on the show. I spoke with him for about 18-20 minutes, talked a little bit about his career, where he's been, had a little history because he went to Villanova. As a Nova guy, had a great conversation with him. So this will be towards the end of the show. If you feel free, give a listen to that. That was a great little interview we did with him out of DC. Well, DJ, let's not dilly-dally here. All right.
Let's not.
Oklahoma City Thunder are NBA champions. Now, the biggest news is obviously Tyrese Halliburton and his Achilles going pop.
Ugh.
That kind of took it away from what was going to be a very, very special Game 7. Especially for Tyrese Halliburton, where he came out hair on fire, 3 for 3 with 9 points. Just an unbelievable set of circumstances. But it's that calf strain. He put a little bit too much pressure on it. And next thing you know, that Achilles goes, and you kind of felt the momentum not truly shift. But you kind of knew that it was an uphill battle for Indiana. OKC went on one of their patented runs. Put the lead up by, I think, like 15. Indiana just could never get back into it. And Indiana went through like a tough stretch of like 10 minutes where nobody on their team besides TJ McConnell could score points. So, absolutely tough stretch. But Oklahoma City wins after a very, very impressive season. 68 wins. Kind of took care of business at home nearly every single series. But people are saying, DJ, this might be the worst championship team of all time. Like, in the sense of they didn't party. Like, they didn't party. Like, some dudes didn't, like, did you, like, normally, like, you win your championship and you go crazy. Like, it's the byproduct of a careers and life worth of work and achievement to get to that point. And, like, these dudes treated it like they were playing a regular season game and they won the NBA Cup.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting because this team is, I believe, the youngest team in the NBA, if not the second. I might need to be fact checked on that. Some people quote having alcohol for the first time, the drinking afterwards was shocking in and of itself. The lack of celebration on the floor, like you said, normally that's a lifelong byproduct. A lot of these kids, if I can even call them that, they're like 21, 22 years old. These are people fresh into the league. Chet Holmgren is what, a sophomore in the league?
No, he's in his third year, but he's played 2 seasons.
Third year? These people are fresh in the league, man. Haven't had, the troubles that people like LeBron or Steph or KD, Kawhi, Giannis have had trying to beat and bruise themselves through this process. These kids have not gone through that same thing. So it's an incredible achievement that they've done what they have. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander worked like a dog in these, all season long. It really carried through this team. And Jalen Williams being arguably the number 2 guy on this roster, he stood up when Shai didn't or couldn't. And it was just, It was impressive all around.
Yeah, I think for OKC, I think because they're so young, like, and I think Jalen Williams and SGA have had, like, you hear him talking to media and they're like, what does this mean to you? Like, and SGA kind of takes it at a very level approach. Like, we'll be back. We'll be fine. Like, we suck tonight. We'll be better. Like, he's never too high. He's never too low. And Jalen Williams is like, we get paid millions to shoot a basketball for a living. It's hard not to be happy. So, like, for them, I think it's the joy of playing basketball is more important rather than the actual outcome, potentially. But, man, you're looking at it, and it's like, you look at the comparison, and this is why I think this is what frustrates me about sports media is that we hit April, and we hit playoff time in hockey and basketball, and everybody raves about how great the NHL playoffs are. Rave. And it's like, that's now, granted, guys aren't playing on broken bones and broken, torn muscles in the regular season.
Right.
But, like, if they have to get what they need to go achieve a lifelong dream of winning the cup, that's like, you can see them. They get overjoyed. They throw their gloves. They all dogpile at the end of the court. They cry. They go party all night. Like, I think the Florida Panthers racked up a $500,000 tab at 11, the nightclub in Miami, $500,000. And the nightclub took care of it all.
Of course.
Like,
of course they did.
Guys. And these guys are going insane on days, weeks. Like, they want it, and in the morning they were at the elbow room going nuts. Like, then they're clubbing, and then they're doing that. Like, it means so much to them. And OKC, right. Like, it was another Sunday night. They had like what looked like half the cases of Michelob Ultra champagne not popped.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't know what to do because they're so young. They've never been in this type of position. Like, Caruso's the only guy who knows kind of what to do. He's the only, like, real vet that's won. So, like, they're all so young. But I do want to talk about the comparison of both these playoffs in terms of the NBA and the NHL. Because it's my PSA that I say every single year is that hockey is the superior product to the NBA. If it wasn't for ESPN and the millions that they have invested in their television, like, hockey should be, honestly, the number 2 sport behind football. I truly believe that. It's a better viewing experience when you go to games, when you watch it on TV. Like, obviously, ESPN has a massive problem with just some of their, like, PK Subban's good. But PK Subban, I kid you not, DJ, didn't get a single playoff series correct. He did a bracket. He did a playoff bracket, DJ. And he didn't get a single team right to advance. Like, he didn't get any of it right. He got everybody in the first round wrong, and therefore led to, like, everything else not being right. So, like, that's your lead analyst for ESPN. Like, then you got Mark Messier, and you got Buchagras, who, like, really loves the sport. College hockey is underrated. It needs way more love, personally, obviously. But, again, for me, it's just one of those things where I look at the group and I look at what they've done. And it's just, hockey is just, like, so much better. And then the playoffs, it's so much better in the playoffs. Because you got to do, like, Matthew Tkachuk played on a torn adductor muscle, dude. Completely torn off the bone. And he had 4 goals in the Stanley Cup Finals. And I do want to talk about Florida here for a second. What a team. Back-to-back Cup wins. The state of Florida has been in the...
I called that, by the way. DJ called Panthers in 6.
Like, Bravosky was great. The defense for Florida was amazing. It looks like they're going to get Sam Bennett back on a team-friendly deal. It looks like they're going to lose Aaron Ekblad in the offseason, and it looks like they're going to make a heavy push to re-sign Brad Marchand, who should have been the Conn Smythe. Like, he was the best player for them in that series, but they do it now where the Conn Smythe is the best player in the playoffs rather than the Stanley Cup final, and that's a dumb rule that they do now.
Yeah.
But like Sam Bennett won the Conn Smythe. Like, this team and the core that they have and the prospects maybe coming up, like, is so good. Like, they traded for Seth Jones, and everybody thought they overpaid for Seth Jones, but now, like, they wanted another cup, so, like, it's validated.
Right.
Barry Zito's an incredible GM. Like, him and Sam Presti are both incredible GMs. Just playing chess while everyone's playing checkers. And they're 3 steps ahead of everybody else, and so on and so forth. Yeah, it's an impressive feat what the Florida Panthers did, and I do expect them to be in contention and come free agency July 1, which is crazy. Like, they finished the season, like, I think a week and a half ago now, maybe less than a week ago, and like, they have to now prep for free agency in about 5 days.
Yeah.
So, or 6 days, I mean.
Well, it's impressive what they were able to do all season long. I mean, we knew going into the season that they were going to be a powerful team with everybody that they did return. Do you think with the potential losses that they have and their possible pickups in the future, right? Do you think they have? I mean, I know you just said you expected them to be a contender next year, but how much of a contender do you expect them to be?
Personally, as long as they get through Tampa Bay, they're going to make the Stanley Cup final every year. Personally. Unless somebody makes an incredible run or Bravovsky turns into dust like he may have, I don't see Florida really slowing down, especially because they're getting back Sam Bennett. So they're keeping Reinhart, Kachuk, Bennett. That's over, like, and Verhaeghe's on a long-term deal. So you got 60% of your scoring coming back. You're keeping, I think, 4 or 5 out of your 6 starting defensemen are coming back, right? And you may put some guys on extension to get ahead of it and whatnot, but like, that side of the bracket and that side of the conference on the eastern side, like, it truly is like it is Florida and Tampa's, like, Stanley Cup to lose every year until proven otherwise, legitimately. They've been, like, the 2 Florida teams have been in the last 6 Stanley Cups. So, like, you know, and I don't know. A lot of teams have to do a lot of moves to get to the level that Tampa and Florida are trending. And I don't know if a team can combat that, because Dallas is already having to make some changes because they barely have any cap space. Toronto, I think, is moving on from Mitch Marner and want to make a push after Brad Marchand, but I don't know if Marchand will do it unless they throw him in an absurd amount of money. Again, Carolina is going to make a big push after Mitch Marner. Anaheim's doing some moves that are going to try and get them competitive sooner rather than later, but I don't know where that is, honestly, for them. They're apparently going to try and throw like $13 million a year at Mitch Marner, which is a lot of money.
Huge in the
Which is a
NHL
lot of
right
money
now,
in
right?
hockey. Yeah, that's a lot of money. Colorado's got to figure out something because their goalie is okay. He's not great, even though they signed him long term. Like, that's going on. I'm kind of confused with what they're doing in their middle. Like, they re-signed Brock Nelson and a couple other players for the same cost of what it would have kept Mikko Rantanen. So I don't know why they just didn't give Mikko what he wanted, right? In terms of keeping him. Again, I'm just going through the Rolodex. Like, the Blues, I think, are going to make a push after Noah Dobson, and they're going to Jordan Kyrie's on the trade block, which is kind of surprising that Jordan Kyrie's on the trade block because he had a pretty successful playoffs. But he also is not a Blue in Blues player in terms of, like, he was terrible on the defensive side of the puck, man. He was so brutal. So brutal. He doesn't forecheck. I can see why the Blues are going to move on. The Blues also lost Torrey Krug, who's going to be like our franchise defenseman, and he's done playing hockey. Like, he had an ankle surgery that was so extensive that he can't play hockey again. Ankle or shoulder, I can't remember which one. But again, Bennington's really good. They got new jerseys now. I don't know if you saw that. Them Johns are clean. Them Johns are clean. The St. Louis Blues got new uniforms, new logo, new everything. It's nice, dude. Them and the Bruins dropped some clean unis, and I was like, Love the Bruins going back to that classic, like that black and yellow, that classic look. Man, Danny Wolf is looking real sad right now as they're reaching towards the end of the draft. But
I think those are
he's
happy
looking real.
tears.
Nah, bro, bro's upset, bro. He does not want to be there anymore. I'm not sure where a team's going to draft him. We're currently on pick 27. We'll talk a little bit about the NBA draft here in a little bit.
Danny Wolf just got picked by the Nets.
Oh, how about that? Bro's looking real sad though.
That's what I'm saying. I think they were happy tears, but
could have fooled me. Dude was looking sad. Looks like somebody ran over his puppy, bro.
That's the worst.
Here we go. Danny Wolf, University of Michigan. There he goes. Yeah, bro's crying. Bro was at Yale as well. Transfer from Yale to Michigan.
Looks like it paid off.
Yep. But, I mean, I don't know. We'll look at July 1. We'll see what happens. I think, yeah. And I'm excited for the NHL draft. I think there's a lot of good players in there in this draft class as well.
I want to stick on there and ask you another question real quick. We know that the Edmonton Oilers are keeping people like Connor McDavid and I'm gonna botch this name, but Leon Draisaitl. I don't know how you get that, but
it's German.
Do you expect them to make it back pretty fluidly, just like Florida did?
I mean, we could go for a trilogy. I think there's rumors that Skinner wants out of Edmonton. There's a big worry about Connor McDavid asking for a trade and all that as well, which Connor McDavid has one more year left on his deal, and he might pull a Kevin Durant in the sense of he may go to a contender to try and win a cup. Like, he wants the cup really bad.
I did see when I was looking him up the possibility of the Lightning.
Yeah, I saw Lightning.
Do you see that as a possibility?
The Lightning got a lot of stock they can give up. They can give up, Isaac Howard, because it looks like they're not going to sign him to a rookie to a ELC entry level contract, and he's great. Isaac Howard's an amazing player. He just won the Hobie Baker best player in college hockey. I mean, they got prospects out the wazoo. They got guys they can trade. They can trade Yanni Gore, Brandon Hagel. Like, they got stuff to make it worth Edmonton's while. I just don't know if you mortgage your team's entire future on Connor McDavid. And granted,
is he considered old?
Granted, Connor McDavid's one of the best hockey players ever put on skates. But
28
years old. You sign him for another 8-year deal. He's in his prime. Plays in Tampa. I mean, one of the best goalies. One of the best defensemen. Kucherov's is a top 5 player. I mean, Gedsel's really good. Braden Point's a top 10 player, top 15 player. Like, we can go on and on and on and on about it. I think Edmonton has a lot of questions to ask. They already traded Evander Kane to the Canucks, which is going to be bad for Vancouver. That locker room is shattered beyond belief. And now, like, we're looking at Edmonton being like, are they going to trade Connor McDavid? And gosh, that's a hard thing to look at your fan base after making 2 Stanley Cups going, we're going to trade away the greatest player to ever put on skates. But, again,
definitely makes some people mad.
Again, I'm not in those front offices. Luckily, I don't have to make those decisions, because if so, I'd be cutthroat. Hockey's very cutthroat in and of itself. Yeah. But no, I think going back, circling full circle back to Florida, if they can retain again 85% of their guys from last season, they're going to be fine. Dang, bro, Danny Wolf's brother is in absolute shambles right now, bro. Bro's going to get memed. I feel so bad, bro. Jesus, this man is in shambles. Well, let's segue here. Let's talk a little bit about the NBA draft so far. I mean, we're not going to get through all the rounds, but I mean, Cooper flagged him to Dallas. Dylan Harper to San Antonio. VJ Edgecombe to Philadelphia, I think, is a great fit there. I'm not just saying that because he's a Baylor guy. But it also really is truly a great fit. Knipple goes to Charlotte.
I thought that was a good pick.
The biggest surprise, I think, of the draft so far was Utah drafting Ace Bailey after Ace Bailey goes, I'm not going to work out for you. And Utah goes, we don't care. You're coming to Utah, buddy.
Yeah.
So he goes to Utah. I know bro's pissed. Bro wasn't even smiling in his photo. And then you got the Wizards taking Trey Johnson. The Pelicans took Jeremiah Fears. Brooklyn took Igor Demon, which I was super surprised by. The Rockets, technically the Phoenix Suns, drafted Malik. And the biggest kind of move of the draft was Memphis jumping up from 16 to 11 to get Cedric Coward. Washington State guy, 7'2", ton of great traits. Bulls take Noah Essengay, who flew in from France. Not France, flew in from Germany while his team's in the middle of a championship run. Derek King gets traded to New Orleans. Atlanta gets Carter Bryant. Like, we're looking at all these here.
I'm like, where did anybody stay with the team that they were drafted from?
The top 10 basically did. That's what I don't like about the NBA draft is that they trade all these draft rights away, and you're just like, I don't know who goes where, but that's cool. Walter Clayton is technically a Jazz, but he'll take photos in Washington Wizards gear, so it's like all different types of.
How does that even work?
I don't know. It's
Do
just
they
the way
tell
it
them
works.
which one they want, and then they draft them away, and then they send them away?
Essentially, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Essentially, yeah. I kind of like what Brooklyn has done. Besides, they've drafted a bunch of guards. Everyone's a guard except Danny Wolf. Memphis drafting up to get Cedric Coward, I was quite surprised by because I think they could have gone up at 16. But they must have had somebody saying they were going to take him earlier. So to jump that high was kind of crazy for a guy who was in D3 years ago.
So which pick were you referring to? For Trailblazers.
Yeah. Other than that, though, this ESPN ABC broadcast is just...
It's kind of brutal to watch.
It is tough. This is a little PSA. I might get some flack for this, but I don't...
Get it.
I don't really care. Like, this is a ESPN professional broadcast with millions of eyes on this tonight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they are making mistakes left and right. And me and you work in media, so we see this. Some other people may not, but we see this. For those that are, like, complaining about the nitty-gritty details, relax. ESPN is making mistakes on a primetime broadcast. We can make mistakes on ESPN Plus, CBS Plus, Flow Sports, 11 o'clock nightly news. We're okay.
It happens.
We're gonna be okay. Well, DJ, let's do a little news segment here before we really get after this list that I really want to talk about.
Can I step in for something real quick? Can I just interject?
No. Okay. No. Nope. Sorry. That's not how the show works anymore.
Sorry, I forgot this is your show.
You're right. It's the deal with Jacob and sometimes DJ. No, go ahead.
Because we're still on the topic of NBA, I think that it is absolutely absurd that people are taking away OKC's championship and calling it fake or like they didn't earn it because Tyrese got injured. Right? Like, there was a lot of basketball left. And yes, Tyrese has the ability to be a game changer. The Pacers fought really well up until halftime. I mean, they were only down 1.5, right?
Yeah.
And they just lost momentum after the halftime. But people are out here saying that it's not a real championship because Tyrese got hurt. And he's not even the best player on that team.
I will say I think they are I'm not going to say least exciting, but I think ESPN and the NBA need to do a better job of portraying the NBA finals to feel larger than life, and they are not doing a good job of that right now.
Nope.
Unlike the NHL. But I mean, it's tough when you don't got dudes who are willing to, like, we don't see it crush them, like,
What
you
do you
know
mean?
what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to explain about OKC, but they were like never worried. They were never worried that they could lose. You know what I'm saying? They
Mm,
were never like out of it. They kind of, again, very much like they were level headed versus like we saw Boston lose in what 22 to Golden
Steph.
State, and you
Yep.
yeah, and you saw it crush Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in that
Hmm.
Celtics team. And you saw how much it meant to Steph and Draymond and Clay to get, I think, one more ring together, right?
Hmm. For
Because they
sure.
know they're I need those. And it felt like OKC treated it again like it's a Tuesday men's league game. We're just
Right.
like,
So do you think, to circle back on question or to flip it, do you think Indiana would have had the same reaction or a better reaction if they had won?
I think Indiana would have gone bananas. I think they
Mm,
would have gone bananas. I think the way that team is and the juice that they have, they would have gone bananas.
millennium.
Bananas for them. But yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I think it's a interesting thing for OKC, and I get it. I listened to Mark Titus and Brandon Walker talk about this NBA championship, and Mark Titus is like, SGA is probably the most forgettable MVP of his lifetime. I'm not going to disagree with that. We obviously have to have history tell itself.
But he's also not one of the all-time greats that we've seen in his position
Not
the
yet.
last 10 years. Right,
I again,
but thinking of all the last MVPs, we can say Giannis is arguably an all-time center, not the all-time, but a top 10. We can say that Kevin Durant,
I mean, Jokic is the
Jokic
top.
is arguably the best center of all time. Arguably the best center of all time. Steph Curry, arguably the best point guard of all time. Who else am I missing here?
I think it's a good list. I mean, obviously, like I think it's the first time the NBA's had to look at themselves and they didn't have a major market player or team. And while SGA is your MVP, I think a lot of people don't respect SGA's game like they do
No,
Jokic's. You know what I'm
not at
saying?
all.
It's like, for me, it's the James Harden effect of like everybody raved about James Harden being like this otherworldly player, and it's like he's not that crazy. He can't win in the big one. He won an MVP because he stat padded and he fouls and travels on every play. SGA plays good defense, pushes off on every shot, gets to his spot. I hate when they're like, he gets to his spot. Yeah, because he gave everyone a stiff arm to get to his spot.
You see that
Again,
clip of McConnell? Was it McConnell? Up towards half court, and that the OKC player, I think it was Williams, like put his whole hand around his wrist right in front of the ref, and the ref didn't call anything. And then he went and stole the ball. I was like, "What are we doing?" I will say it didn't seem completely fair throughout the entirety of that game 7.
well, there is a lot of stuff where I was watching the game going, the referees don't know how to ref OKC because OKC was down, I think, 6 right before half, and Indiana's got all the momentum, right? And then out of nowhere, OKC fouls like 4 times, but no calls get called. Turnovers happen, and OKC was like basically essentially gifted 4 free points before half to cut
Right.
the lead one. And it's like,
To
I
go up
don't know
one.
what I'm watching. I don't know what I'm watching. I think the NBA has lost it because I don't know what I'm watching anymore. I don't know what I'm watching, and it's terrible. It's a
It's not fun.
terrible product. And granted, I know. And the problem is, we're all going to sit here and be like, they're so talented. They're actually playing super hard, but they're so talented and all these things. I'm like, great. But if you're so talented, why is it not enjoyable to watch? Football, it's the most talented dudes ever, and I'm in my seat every Sunday at 1. Well, now noon where I live. But hockey, they're the most talented dudes on earth. And you can tell,
Right.
right? You can tell. There's levels. Versus I'm
Yeah.
watching NBA games. And the NBA
It's
draft is another great example of basketball being so freaking confusing. right, is Cedric Coward. I'm going on a rant now. I
Eat
hijacked
it
your
up.
spiel.
Eat it up.
But Cedric Coward plays at Washington State, plays Division III basketball 3 years ago, and is a number 11 pick in this draft versus a guy like Liam McNeely, who just got drafted, I think, 29th to Phoenix. But he was a star player on UConn, and they made the turn. Like, it's a tough brand. It's a tough market. I think basketball has lost itself. Like, the game as basketball has changed, and it's obviously the talent has never been better. But, man, I don't understand where the disconnect is.
It's defense. The disconnect is defense.
It's not even defense, man, because they play hard. It's more just like it's just more of the way it's designed and run that like
It's just too easy.
I don't know about easy.
I think
I don't know about
it's got to be one or the other, because the one thing that's the difference between everything that you've been saying is defense and pro football is incredibly difficult, but it's really good, right? Which makes it challenging for the offense to score. And when you're watching an NBA product, and it's the same with hockey, those are the best people on earth, right? And it is hard to score in hockey, incredibly hard.
I think I figure I can pinpoint a exact play that frustrates me is this exact play here. Ready? The Knicks did this all the time. And it's exciting when it works, but it frustrates the crap out of me watching it. Think the NBA lacks the difference is obviously it's constant action with the 24-second clock, right? So you have to move quick. And I'm not saying to lower it back down, but like you don't really get to establish sets. You don't really get to slow the game down, right? And so instead what we're getting guys dribbling up court. Nothing is set up, and they just kick it to, like, let's give an example. It's Jalen Brunson. He kicks it to Karl Anthony Towns, and Karl Anthony Towns heaves a 40-footer. And then he bricks it. Nobody goes to fight for the rebound, right?
Right.
And Giannis gets an easy rebound. He kicks it out to Dame. Dame goes up court, right? It's a transition three. He goes up, shoots it, brick, potentially. More times than not, he'll make it. But still, It's like there's nothing gets like set up. You don't get to see the offense versus the NFL. You get to see the formation. In hockey, you know what you get to see? You get to see the setup. You get to see the zone time. You get to see the puck go across the ice to the one timer. You get to see the build. Versus, I think basketball, they were just moving way too quick, and it's a boring product because it's like I'm just gonna see you heave 35-footers, and then we're going to drive to the rack, and the referees are going to make the worst call I've ever seen in my life. Like,
yeah, I mean, I agree with part of that, and granted, I don't have the hockey intelligence that you do, but like I feel like hockey is still fast paced, as NBA is with a shot clock.
but
right? Do you think hockey is holding the ball for 24? Holding the puck for.
But you also got to think if they get fouled, they're going to the free throw line, slowing the game down. Hockey, you foul someone, you're going to the penalty box for 2 minutes. The game keeps moving. You see the difference there.
But it's still quick. You know what I'm saying?
It's quicker. You don't.
Right.
In hockey, you have to pay attention.
Right.
Because you have to see how the play develops. You can see the forecheck change. You can see it's like obviously the best thing in basketball is, transition buckets because you get to see the spacing in the court. But what I hate is SGA dribbles up, kicks it to Williams. Williams just heaves a deep three, brick. Right? There's no art to the game versus hockey and football. And even baseball now, there's like art to the game. I think the problem is, again, I think I'm maybe this is the one word to say it, but it just feels soulless. It doesn't feel like these dudes are willing to like die on the court to win.
Because arguably they don't have to. Because calls are light. It's heavily offensive.
Yeah.
Like if the defense is clamping there, it makes the offense try hard. Like if you can play a little defense, get a little gritty, have a little contact in there, not a ton, right? We don't want the game to be football, or we'd watch football. But if the defense is allowed to play defense and play it tight, and they're not easy or foul baiting, it makes the offense try harder. You need plays to set up.
I mean, I enjoyed this NBA Finals for those exact reasons. Granted, I think OKC was hand checking every single freaking defense, but like, again, you knew you were going to watch really good basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to see Halliburton work. You got to see Shea work. You got but in NBA regular season, we're not going to see that. I think that's what it's very frustrating. Versus the NHL play at an already uber competitive level to make the playoffs, and then it goes up 4 notches to try and win the cup. Versus the NBA, it's kind of like the equivalent of what it feels like when I watch it is like watching NFL walkthroughs, and then the playoffs come, and then they like realize that they can play basketball and play defense, and like, I don't know. I think the product is in a bad state of affairs right now. They need to figure it out. They need to
I agree.
figure it. Well, long-awaited kind of interlude to this here. This summer, as a part of, every show kind of does their thing. Bussin' with the Boys does tier talk, shout out, no free shout outs. Part of my take does Mount Rushmore in the summer, and they got all these things. We're going to do our top 5s, right? Top 5 draft. So 10 total things. Snake style, so I'll go first. DJ gets 2 back-to-back picks, and then we keep going here, right?
All right. That sounds good. Let me pull up a doc here just so I don't lose track of what you have and what I got.
Pull up a doc so we can see this when I make the graphic. And we'll let the people in the comments, we'll make a graphic, and we'll let the people in the comments vote on who won.
Yes, sir. We got Jacob.
This first one, the way our show's going, we will not have a show next week unless major news happens, but we are going to enjoy the 4th of July. Going to enjoy ourselves. So with that being said, we're going to do our top 5 things about the 4th of July. You can be uber specific. You can be super broad, right? Do what you must, right?
Sounds good.
So with that being said, I'm going to have the 1-1 here. I'm going to take fireworks. 1-1 about the 4th of July. Fireworks. You absolutely love it. It feels American. Screams American here. Top 5 things this summer. I'm taking fireworks at the 1-1. DJ, you got your picks.
I think
2 back-to-back.
4th of July. Barbecue. Easy.
Barbecue. It's good.
Barbecue got to be number 2. And then the best things. And this is going to be a stretch with this one. We'll just go party.
Super broad.
It is a little broad, but I was going to say lawn chairs. But I'm like, you need the people for the lawn chairs. And what are you doing? Like, you need the whole vibe.
Yeah, I think for you, you're thinking too broad because I'm going to get real specific here to win this. You're done now. Because I got fireworks. I'm going to take hot dogs.
Barbecue.
That's
barbecue. That's barbecue.
No, you're saying barbecue's a type of food, my friend. That's briskets. You didn't specify.
Oh my gosh.
This is, again, that's the way it's going to go. I'm taking hot dogs, specifically, and I'm going to take beers. I'm going to take beers.
Yeah, I knew that one was coming.
Yeah. I got fireworks, hot dogs, and beers. You got barbecue and lawn and parties.
All right. Yeah, that's tough to beat. I'm not going to lie. I think when talking about 4th of July, you got to go very broad in country music. I gotta go country music. I'm proud to be an American. Country music.
Okay. I hate that you're going broad. I want to get super specific if you allow me to have one, but we'll get to it on my next.
Yeah, let's just say my last pick. Barbecue party country music. I feel like I'm missing something. And I know you're gonna snipe it.
Yeah, I am.
I guess if I gotta go more specific, I'm gonna go hamburgers. I think I gotta save myself something more specific. I was thinking pool. Pool time
That's a
on the
good
4th
one.
of
You should have
July
done that.
is fun.
Should have done that.
But not everybody has that. Not everybody has
But
that.
still, it's because my next thing that screams 4th of July for my pick is boats. Going out on a boat.
Boats. That's a good one.
And if you allow me to have this, I know you said country music, but I want to take a specific artist.
You freaking Kenny Chesney.
And it's the late, great Toby Keith.
Toby Keith. Okay.
Red Solo Cup, Made in America, the courtesy of the red, white, and blue. Who's your daddy?
Your courtesy. Yeah, you can
So
have
those are
it.
my 5.
Do I have one more?
You have one. You have the last pick.
Then I'll go swimming pools. I'll go pools with that.
Oof, DJ, you got cooked on this one, my friend.
I think I did, which is why I'm just letting you have Toby Keith, which I think should not be allowed, but I got cooked everywhere else. No pun intended.
To reiterate, I got fireworks, hot dogs, beer, boats, and Toby Keith. That's a hell of a 4th of July.
I feel like I was playing Family Feud with my answers. You got really gritty with it. You were down to the nitty gritty.
Hey, we'll get better here. We'll get better, kid. We'll get better. It's just one. It's just one here. It's
just one at the moment.
DJ, let's EA College Football 25. Right. Coming up here. Not 25, 26. My bad. 26. Right. They came out with their top 25 toughest stadiums to play in.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm gonna go 25 down. At number 25, we got Mississippi State. 24, we got Michigan State. 23, we have Oklahoma State. 22, we have NC State. A lot of states to kick off. 21, we have Notre Dame. 20, we have Utah. 19, we have Iowa. 18, we have Washington. 17, we have Auburn. 16, we have South Carolina. 16, we have Wisconsin. 14, we have Florida State. 13, we have Texas. 12, we have Tennessee. 11 is A&M, Texas A&M. Number 10 is Michigan. Number 9 is Oregon. Number 8 is Oklahoma. Number 7 is Florida. Number 6 is Clemson. Number 5 is Alabama. Number 4 is Georgia. Number 3 is Ohio State. Number 2 is Penn State. And number 1 is LSU. First and foremost, this is rough. Very rough. I just want to start with the most obvious set of things. 22 through 25 are terrible. Like, they are terrible. Mississippi State, Michigan State, Oklahoma State, NC State? Really? As your toughest places to play, those are it? What? Mississippi State, maybe I get it because of the cowbells. Maybe, because that thing can get really annoying. But Michigan State? Or a basketball school?
I was going to say, maybe Michigan State in the early 2010s.
I mean, Oklahoma State, I guess I get because they have the paddles getting slapped on the side. And then NC State makes no sense. No sense.
Yeah, that's
a bad pick. That's a really bad pick. It feels like the people who designed this game, these are where they're like, that's where they're from, like that's where they went to school, so they have to get that in there. I think Virginia Tech not in there with Enter Sandman is disrespectful. Disrespectful.
Like they're not good though. Like Enter Sandman is an intimidating thing to come out to.
But they're loud. There's 90,000 people there.
It could be 90,000 people, but when your team sucks, why is it hard to play there?
You're gonna pick Michigan State over Virginia Tech,
I'm
my
not
friend.
saying that it's.
That's what you're saying. That's what I'm hearing about what you're saying.
No, but they suck.
If you're watching
State in 2016 would definitely be on this list, if not higher.
2026.
I know, and Virginia Tech sucks.
Trash. So does
Virginia
Michigan
Tech
State and Oklahoma.
Yes.
Gosh, Oklahoma State won 3 games last year.
I get it. I'm not saying that Oklahoma State should be on here.
Oh my God. I mean,
at least Oklahoma over Oklahoma State. It's probably a harder place to play, even with the terrible record they had.
Oklahoma State I can live with because of the paddles. right? The paddle's being slapped on the side. I can't live with NC State. That's just a terrible pick.
Yeah, that's
And I'm not going to sit here and put respect on Michigan State's name either.
no, not right
Not going
now.
to do that.
No, not
Terrible.
right now.
Terrible.
Not right now.
Terrible. I think if we're going to play the game of like who should go where, right? I am just kind of thinking out loud here. Right, just thinking out loud.
Shocker.
I think Arizona State should be in this because they get wild down there in Tempe. Right?
Okay.
That would probably I want Virginia Tech in there. Right?
Mm.
I love Enter Sandman. Enter Sandman's respectful. You got to respect it.
Again, that's not even game time though. That's not during the game. That's before the game.
They're still loud, dude. I will say, I think if I had to put like a real wild card in here, dude, James Madison gets wild.
That's a good one.
That's a great one. And another sleeper is Army. When the cadets get crazy.
Yeah.
And Army's got a beautiful, beautiful stadium. Stadium right along the river in New York. Take a look at some photos. Those I think it's. But
there were a couple There were a couple primetime ones that I think specifically stick out there. I think Pitt or West Virginia could be sneaky. Hard towards the bottom, very bottom of this list.
West Virginia, I'll give you. I won't give you Pitt. I will not give you Pitt.
Okay. I'll take one of the two. I think when they're decent in a primetime game, and I mean I'm also when they play each other, but like I know West Virginia gets down in there. West Virginia gets wild. Utah's pretty good. They might actually be a little. They could probably make it work a little higher. They're definitely higher than Camp Randall.
Utah at night is devastating.
Yeah.
I think for me putting.
Oh my gosh, Oklahoma at 8?
Oklahoma at 8 is blasphemous.
I didn't even care to look that far for Oklahoma because I didn't think there was any way that they were that high.
I think you're putting massive disrespect on Texas and Tennessee, given where they are.
Disrespect?
I think Texas should be higher, dude.
No.
Yeah, dude.
I think they're pretty good. Location-wise.
I think if I was going to make one change, I would move Oklahoma to the Tennessee spot, and I move everybody up one.
Tennessee to the Oklahoma spot.
And the only other thing I would change is Ohio State and Penn State. I think I would switch those.
Yeah, I think Penn State gets a lot of favor for their whiteout game, and though they are a tough place to play when good opponents come in there, I personally feel, as somebody who watches it from the television, that that the Ohio Stadium energy is better throughout the entire game than it is at Penn State.
I also will argue that Florida atmosphere is better than Clemson's as well.
Yeah, I think I would move.
Honestly,
I would probably move Florida to 4.
I was gonna say I think I would put it ahead of Bama. I don't know if I'll put it in front of Georgia though. Georgia's tough. Between the hedges.
Tough the last couple years though.
Yeah, Florida. I mean, we've been to Florida games together, dude.
That's crazy. I feel like Michigan should be up more.
I just don't feel. I think I would put Michigan in front of Oregon and Clemson. I think if I had to re-rank my top 10 here, I think I would go LSU, Ohio State, Penn State, Florida, Georgia, Clemson, Bama, Michigan, Oregon. Is that 9? No, I think that's 9, and then I would put Tennessee at the 10th.
Where did you put Kyle Field?
It'd be on the outside of my top 10.
I'd go LSU, Ohio State, Penn State, Florida. That's 5, right? I feel like Georgia, for me personally, Georgia's too high. For my personal opinion, Georgia's too high. But granted, where they have been the last couple of years, I could live with myself putting them at 6. I'll put Michigan at 7. I'm going to put Kyle Field at 7, Michigan at 8, Tennessee at 9, and I'll put Dope Campbell at 10. I don't care what anybody says. That team might suck, but when that stadium is rocking in Tallahassee, that is one of the most unique places to play
I
or
mean,
to be.
you hear the word chant, and you see
And that
dude.
is, it is just piercing, ear piercing in all the right ways. All the right ways, Jacob. But as for like outside the top 10, I mean, I think Texas is too high. Oklahoma's way too high. Camp Randall's way too high. South Carolina can be a crazy place to play. Notre Dame is an interesting one for me, but based on kind of how these teams were last year, it seems like they're taking weird things into account because the stadium pulses really depend on how the team did the previous year, right? Is like how the energy comes in for most stadiums.
Yeah,
And it seems like some of them they're taking that into account, and for others they're not. Like Alabama wasn't that intimidating to play in this year because they weren't respected as they were in years past with Saban there. Let's see, Notre Dame isn't a place that I'm just like scared. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to Notre Dame. Like that's one of the toughest places to play. Like I don't get that vibe from Notre Dame. They were good this year, which made them harder to play in, which made their fans, more crazy. But I mean, Northern Illinois walked in there and beat them. You know, so it's like it's this weird thing that they're going with. When Florida State's not good, that stadium is dead. That is not a football school. I don't care what anybody says. That is a when football is good school. So that's my rant.
well, we're all entitled to our own opinions, but well, DJ, he has been DJ McCatherine. I got distracted by looking at concert tickets right in the last 3 seconds, so that was cool. Sorry about that.
I'm glad
Trying to
that
see
you're focused,
Joe.
buddy. I don't. I don't think so. Shout out to the UFO, man. That's an up and coming league.
Exactly. Shout out to the UFL. Like I said, next week no show. For those listening, no show next week. We will still be making TikToks and all that and staying up to date with news as it comes, but no show next week. And I believe we will start breaking down sooner rather than later some college football talk here sooner rather than later. I think
Yes,
pretty soon
sir.
we're going to start our conference previews before week 0, and this is where the rubber meets the road, DJ. This is what
You
we've been
know,
waiting for.
we're hoping to have a fun summer. Some interesting
Hoping to,
little topics here, segments.
having a fun summer. DJ's jumping off. It's just me and Malik Fisher. You know where to follow us. TikTok, Instagram, X, like YouTube, like, comment, share, subscribe. Let us know where you're at. Let's send it over to Malik Fisher. He has been DJ. I will be with Malik Fisher. Sending it over. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Deal with D and J. I got alongside us a very special guest, DC Defender, UFL champion, Malik Fisher. How are you doing tonight, good sir?
Doing good, man. I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing great. First and foremost, I guess let's just start there. Talk to me a little bit about how that feels hearing UFL champion next to your name as you get intro now.
Feel great. It feels great, man. It's always good to come out on top after a full season, all the work that we put in and stuff, and then just to get that ring, the amount of time that we put in with the team, with the guys, the brothers on and off the field, just to be a champ, it mean a lot, man.
Absolutely love it. I mean, you guys ran the UFL this year on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. You had an incredible season this year, an incredible season last year as well. I mean, talk to me a little bit about what you've kind of learned in those 2 seasons with the DC Defenders about kind of like how your game's feeling. How do you feel like it's slowing down? Do you feel like you're making some incredible strides? Talk to me a little bit about how you're feeling in those 2 seasons so far.
Yeah, so I mean, from both seasons, last year was a great season for me overall, and then this season, I kind of started out slow actually, but being able to pick up off of the confidence that we built from winning games made it a lot easier for me to catch up to myself production wise, honestly. And that's the great thing about being a part of a good team is that as we're winning, even if individually you're not getting the type of stats that you want as the season goes, it keeps you encouraged, it keeps you engaged. And I felt like last year, as a team, we didn't have a fully successful year on the records. I think we had a down year, didn't make the playoffs. I think so. It kind of worked in my favor this year to have a good year as I was struggling early on and then picking it up and kind of peaking and coming through the playoffs and getting 3 sacks in the 2 games, 2 in the semifinals against St. Louis, 1 in the championship. And I think that it was all a result of how well we were as a team and how people on the team kept me engaged, and then how the winning aspect of team success allowed me to individually get to where I wanted to go to.
I mean, incredible season. I mean, Jordan Teamu just probably makes your guys' lives so much easier when you guys are. He's slinging it on the offensive side, gives you that confidence to go
Yeah, when
into.
the offense is rolling, and then we get the pass rush because we playing ahead on the scoreboard, and that's something that we love. Once the offense gets going, we get up 1 or 2 touchdowns. There's no way that that whoever we're playing could keep just trying to run the ball and wasting the clock. They got to start keeping up. Once they do that, there are a lot of pass rushes to get busy. So I love when Tom was cooking.
I mean, talk to me a little bit about that playoff run. I think for most people who follow the UFL, that St. Louis is that insane city where they fully have like really bought into the UFL and the Battlehawks there. Talk to me about what it was like playing in that type of environment, and what do you guys do to kind of prep for maybe that noise level that you may not get in some of those other stadiums throughout the
Yeah,
season?
it felt good because a lot of times you feed off of that energy. I know it's away crowd is usually supposed to be distracting, but in the league that we're in, when we get those high intense atmospheres, it's kind of what we play for and what we look for. So playing in that environment and honestly turns us up even more because we feed off of that intensity. That's the type of place we want to play with fans. We want that energy, and just in preparation, we just do everything that we used to doing. And honestly, I know in previous years we've done like noise bites in practice and like played loudspeakers and stuff like that. But honestly, it works in our favor more than against it. The tough crowd, because it's competitors. That's the type of stuff that give you chills and goosebumps and brings out the best in you.
Absolutely love to hear it. I want to talk a little bit about, we actually have a common connection, believe it or not. You went to Villanova for 5 years. I worked at Villanova for a year.
Word,
And
visa,
V's up, V's
yeah.
up. The little post grad internship. I was there in 22 fall of 22, so just after you, I believe, just graduated in the season of 21.
Yep, yep.
But talk to me a little bit about your time at Villanova. Why Villanova in the first place? And when did you feel like going professional was achievable for you at Villanova?
Well, yeah, I chose Nova because such a great academic school, as well as the level of competition that we play in football is mid-major FCS, but it's still respected highly at the highest level. We always had guys that were sent to the league. Like I was coming in, and Tano Passigno was going to the league. Austin Calitro. We got Christian Benford in the league right now. We had Forrest Ryan go to the league from the same team that I was on. So it was always a place that historically has sent NFL talent while not having to be Power Four, Power Five, and then also the academics lined up, and then also and as well, basketball was winning national championships. It just was a lot going on branding wise. It was easy to want to put myself on that campus and attach myself to the brand of Villanova. That's huge for the alumni base and how much connection that goes a long way. And as we were playing, I mean, by the time junior year came, I had racked up a good amount of sacks, and we had a great year. And coming into the 2020-ish year when COVID was happening and things like that was when buzz started to come around my name and a couple of other guys on the team where we had a possible chance to go and play professionally. And I mean, that's something that we all want and expect, but you got to perform a little first. So it took some time to see the light on the end of that tunnel and say, okay, this is truly real for me. It was a great place to do it at. I mean, I love Nova. I'm always going back and training and going to the golf outing for the football team alumni, and it's just a place that makes you always want to come back for real, for real.
What are we shooting on those golf outings? What are we looking at? What's the card looking like? That's all that matters. That's all that matters. I know my guys, Whitey and Steve, love to get active out on those golf outings and whenever they can. And
Yeah,
I'm like those guys. They just live for the golf. I think that's why they love their job, is because they get to golf like half the time. for these alumni outings. To kind of continue the line of logic with Villanova, I mean, when did it have the epiphany moment? You talked about the light at the end of the tunnel. When did that kind of dawn on you that like going pro was legitimate? Whether that was in the NFL, maybe trying to get drafted or going as a undrafted free agent, but more so, you know, the UFL kind of just started around, I believe, like as you were graduating, was like right the turn of the XFL merging with the UFL.
Yeah, so I feel like as we played freshman year, sophomore year, I was an active producer on the team, rotational. Then I was starting sophomore year. Had a good amount of had about 5 sacks, and then I took a big jump junior year, and I had about like 7 or 8 sacks. It was really, I would say, honestly, not until I started hearing from different reporting pages or agents. Because for me, I thought I was just doing what I was supposed to do. But then as the offseason came, it was like, oh, now agents are starting to contact you. Oh, it's getting real. This is going into my senior year where I didn't know anything about that process. And I felt like for all of us on that team, because we had a couple of guys who were prospects to go to the NFL and stuff like that. For all of us, it was pretty new. It was pretty interesting, and it was fun. It's a fun process to go through when you starting to feel some of that love before getting to the other side. And I mean, we sent a couple of guys pro from my team and my class specifically, so it was a good time.
Yeah, I think Villanova has done such a great job. Just when my time there, Coach Ferrante does such a great job of getting everybody ready, and he's such a great people person too. He's so awesome to be around. One question, I heard a story. I did a little research. I watched a video, and he had an interesting story about how you kind of started getting into football with your brothers. Talk to me a little bit about that story and how did that transpire, and how funny is it looking back on?
Yeah, they hit me with the okey doke, was giving me the fake controller, telling me that I'm playing and I'm winning. And then it just started not adding up. As I was moving the analog left, the player was going right. I was pressing past it to circle, and he was passing it to triangle, and it just wasn't adding up after a while. And then I started putting it together that controller not even working. They had me playing with the fake controller. So then I'll go up and run it. I'm telling my mom like they not playing, letting me play with the right controller. So then they'll give me the good controller, and then they would like 21 zip me, 21 skunk me, and then just get me get me off the game. So I'm like, all right, I gotta go really play. And in order to get my fun, I gotta go really play football, and that's kind of what drove like my passion, like getting into football, was I was playing Madden with my brothers, and they just kept giving me the fake controller.
I remember doing that to my brother one time, and my parents were like, "You can't do that to him," and I was like, "He doesn't know any better." And then he got old enough to where he finally noticed, and I was like, "Well, there goes playing video games by myself now. I got to share, but I
Yeah,
got
man.
I got a
Problems of being a younger brother.
I wouldn't know. I'm an older one. I got to give the younger ones some tough love every now and then. That's what I like to
Builds
think.
character. It builds character.
I heard from a buddy here that you're a CEO or you own your own business, Power Apply. Talk to me about what made you want to explore this type of business venture, and you talk to us a little bit about what that company's about.
Yes. So went into that business with one of my older brothers. Actually, he's a software engineer. He's into coding. He's self-taught. And as I witnessed him building the product and building the software, I just started shooting out ideas. And as he was building it out, he would change things. He would come back to me, get a little insight on what I thought about it, and then he'll go fix it up. And it was built around the job market and the job cycle and hiring, because he was looking for jobs, and he built out this software that helped him just apply to like 30 jobs at once, and it was cool. And then I was like, so hey man, like I have so many connections, I have so many people that I know, like let's start trying to push this out and get this out in the world and see what it could do. And then we got in front of some people, and one of our advisors, he shifted the focus into the interview process and helping people, instead of helping people get jobs, helping people hire for jobs. And the software is basically AI automation to skim through resumes and skim through LinkedIn profiles just off of the the copy and paste of a link, and it helps people get a rundown of who this person is. Do they fit the culture for this job? Do they fit the credentials for the job? And would they be the right fit? And if not, what questions would you have to ask them throughout the interview process to figure that out? And it's been an up and down battle. It's been a struggle breaking into an industry that's so strongly built with their own foundations, especially coming out of sports. But it's a learning process, and we've learned so much throughout it that's applicable to different industries, and how we may have to pivot, just like anything in football, may have to pivot with the same concept, but also applying it in a different way so that we could start to scale and get the success through customers and consumer usage that we need.
Absolutely love it. It sounds like you guys are, from what it sounds like, are going to be on the front end of what a lot of companies are going to end up doing with, the AI automation and all that. Love to hear that you guys are ahead of that as well. I think that's just such a cool opportunity, especially doing it with your brother. I mean, doesn't get any better than that.
Thank you.
I got a couple quick hitters here. These are a couple Philly questions. I got to know, what is your go-to cheesesteak spot in Philly? If you're in Philly, you're like, I got to go here.
Yeah, man. Where am I going to go? Geno's. I don't know if I'm basic, but I'll go Geno's.
I'm a Delisandro's guy. When I lived like 5 minutes away from there, and I'm like, that's my spot. That's my spot. I'm always trying. I tried to go to Angelo's one time, but the line was down the block, and I'm like, I don't got time for this. Not today. And then kind of last little quick hitter here. I mean, we both know the Villanova area quite well. What's kind of the favorite spot around that Villanova area that, you like to hit up? Around there.
That I like to eat at?
Yeah.
So I'll say if I'm feeling good, if I'm feeling real good, Fleming's. Yeah, that's steakhouse. But post workout, just a regular day, going to lunch after I got a good workout in, maybe going out to eat with somebody just quickly, just for a little chat. I'm gonna go to Honey Grow.
Ooh,
Honey Grow.
yes. Love that.
You know what I mean? Right on the other side of Radnor High School.
Yes.
Right over there. And let's see if we're going just like Nova, something that someone wouldn't know about in that area. Where would I go? I'm trying to think. Not Camp Co. Not Campus Corner.
Yeah, I was gonna say can't. I was like,
no, not Camp Co. Man. A lot of people love it. It's like I feel like Camp Co is just like, it's there. You got to do it. You walk down the block, you go get some Camp Co. But I'm not the biggest Camp Co fan as other people would be. But shit, the two that I said will be my favorite if I'm out there.
I remember whenever we would get like, some of the other sporting events to be like, yeah, we have Camp Co. I'd just be like, oh, geez. I was like, okay. I love La Scala's. That's like my
Scala's fire, yeah, with the fireplace all outside and everything.
Yes.
Yeah,
good drinks, great food.
Yeah.
Like, I take some home. It's so good. That spot, and then I loved the little ice cream places. Well, I'm blanking on the name, but it had the cow
outside.
Yes.
And the cookies, they had the cookie side and the ice cream. Yep.
Those were my jam. After working basketball, I'm like, please be open. And it's open. I'm like, hot fresh cookie. I'm like, that's my jam right there.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I love it over there too. Right across the street from Kelly's. Right across from Kelly's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, other than that, Malik, it's been great having you on.
Thank you, man.
Where are we in the off season now? Where are we at now? We staying down?
Oh yeah, no. So I spent a good amount of the last couple weeks in Dallas, and then came home to visit some family, and I'll probably be out in Maryland training for the summer and staying in shape.
Well, if you're ever in Dallas, hit me up. I'm down in Waco, hour and a half down. If you want to come to a Baylor game, I got you. I work at Baylor now.
I appreciate the invite, man.
But love having you on. Best of luck to you. I want to see you in the NFL. I love seeing you with the DC Defenders. I need to see this Malik Fisher jersey out in the NFL, pass rushing, sacking a quarterback, and then me being mad at my fantasy quarterback in a good way, being like, that's my guy, but dang it.
Yeah, bro. That's what I need too. Let's do it. In due time, I'll be ready. In due time.
Absolutely love it. He's been Malik Fisher. Thank you for joining us. This has been The Deal with D and J.